Saturday. It was a blind guy unboxing, but I got this. And I didn't know what it was, and I was about to put it in my mouth. Can anybody out there in viewerland, can you see what it is? It's the devil's toe, which, like, it's exactly what it sounds like. It's a 9 million Scoville. It's the hottest thing in the planet. It is the hottest thing in the planet, apparently. And I almost put it in my mouth, and someone was trying to, like, you know, they thought it'd be funny. Yeah, watch the blind guy stick it, because it's like a lollipop. It just seems like a lollipop. But if I eat something like that, I'm not even a hot, like, kind of food guy. I don't even like that kind of stuff. And I've told people that a bunch of times. I don't like the hot stuff. So this is why I have a screener, and the screener kind of waited to the last second. He was like, "Oh, don't eat that." Because if I put this in my mouth, you know, I'm doing voiceovers throughout the day, all day. It would have, like, made my throat burn. I didn't have any milk handy or anything. It definitely would have messed up the voiceovers for the day. The last time I got fooled and had something hot, I was, like, drooling, and I started puking, like dry heaving and everything. And I wiped my mouth, and then I wiped my eyes, and that made it so much worse, because then my eyes were stinging. It was really, really, really bad. So this one, whoever sent this, you guys will see it in the blind guy unboxing Saturday on some platforms, Sunday on other platforms. But, like, this thing is getting destroyed. We're just going to throw it away because I don't want to leave it laying around for one of the dogs to get. I'll show you. I brought in here today some examples of good blind guy unboxing stuff. If you're on the YouTube platform and you want to send something to Blind Guy Unboxing, the address is in the description. I think a lot of people enjoy them. Let's see if I can find. Oh, this thing. This thing was fun. It kind of startled me when I very first opened it. It seemed soft and fuzzy, and it had the horns, which kind of gave away that it was a goat. But when you squeeze it, it's a screaming billy goat. I like the stuffed animals. I like the tactile things. I can hear him. He's got the bell. He's screaming, and the horns totally gave him away. So a screaming billy goat. That was pretty good. What else is over here? I've got. What am I feeling around for? This is, I'll take the headphones off for this. I thought it was the top of an ice cream cone or a cupcake or something, because we'd encountered that once before when we were out and about in the world. Where's the face? I can feel the face. Right here, a poop emoji hat. That was kind of fun. The poop emoji hat, I think it feels like the mouth and the eyes. He should be facing forward. Oh, yes, over here. These were a hit. These were a huge hit. I didn't know what they were. See, I knew something was going on with these things because they made some noise, obviously. So I knew something was happening with them. But when I put them on, I didn't realize that I was putting on the googlies. So those are super fun. In this basket right here, these are stress-relieving hot dogs, which Puppy Steve likes them more than me, because originally it came with 5 of them. I didn't know what they were. I had no idea what they were, like, at all. I had to be told at the end. But you squeeze them, they're hot dogs and buns, and they feel pretty fun. The Daredevil mask that my Blind Surfer wetsuit is wearing, I got that in a Blind Guy unboxing. And let's see. This is, let me drop this stuff. The googly eyes are going away. This thing is I thought these were boobs. I thought it was like a booby hat, but it ended up being the eyes of the squid. These are all things that were sent to me in Blind Guy Unboxing that didn't make me want to cry. So these are not boobies. They're eyeballs, apparently. So that was all good stuff. I was happy to get that stuff. Was not super psyched to get the devil's anus or whatever the heck the devil's toe. That's what it was. But yeah, we're going to keep doing the Blind Guy Unboxing. But just so you guys know out there is someone screening the packages, even if it is at the last minute. So you can try and send hot stuff, but I'm probably not going to eat it. Anyway, getting that out of the way, just wanted to talk about that a little bit. 760-517-6844 is the phone number. We'll go right to the first call right now. Who's this?
Hello.
Hey, who's this?
This is Hawk.
Hawk. That's a great name. I love that name. Where are you calling from?
Florida.
All right, cool. What are you watching on? Which app?
YouTube.
Cool. That's where we started doing this show originally. We've just kind of been expanding to other ones as time goes on. But what's going on, Hawk, down in Florida?
Nothing. I just wanted to call and ask you a few questions.
Sure, fire away.
All right. First of all, what made you want to start into the YouTube life?
I was kind of slowly starting to tell my story. For a while, I'd been hiding the fact that I was losing my eyesight. I didn't want people in my industry to know. And as I got more comfortable and more established as a voice actor, I started telling the story a little bit. And when I moved out to San Diego, the local Fox 5 affiliate did a story on me, and we got some really positive response. And I just got a ton of emails. It was a quick 5-minute piece, and a lot of people wanted to know a lot more questions, like a lot more. And I was like, man, I wish we could do another interview. And I was kind of brainstorming it with Josh and Banana. They're like, you can tell your own story if you want on social media. And, just because of the positive response that we gotten on all the questions, people like, how do you surf blind? How do you do this blind? I was like, well, I'll figure I'll answer them myself. And we started January 1st, 2020, doing YouTube videos, kind of trying to answer all those questions.
Mm-hmm. All right. Well, and then also, when did you get to like, oh, I feel like I'm safe with handling knives?
That's a good question. Huck, I screwed something up. I got to reach forward. I'm going to answer that one. I just got to reach forward and find I don't want to knock everything over. There we go. There was one camera. There was one camera that was not on. I used to, so I used to live across the street from a school when I was a little kid, and there was this big, giant blue wooden backstop that was set up at the school. It was supposed to prevent basketballs from going beyond the hoop. But I kind of got into knife throwing and Chinese star throwing when I was a little kid. Maybe, I don't know, 10, 11, 12 was when I started. And I spent a lot of time. I'd take my practice knives and throwing stars and kind of whip them down at that blue board for years on end. And I had a pretty decent knife collection. The one I used for the blind guy unboxing was not one meant for throwing, but I got pretty comfortable handling that kind of stuff over the years.
All right. And then one last question. So when did you get diagnosed with being blind? Were you born with it?
No, I was, and thanks. I'm sorry about that. I was trying to mute the volume and I killed him for a second. Thank you for the call, Hawk. I appreciate it from down there in Florida. I've told this one a number of times, so just real quick. I was born with a genetic disorder called, they called it at the time macular degeneration, but it didn't start presenting until I was about 8 years old. So my eyesight had been degenerating from the moment I was born. It's kind of screwed up when you think about it. Like you're born with this degenerative disease that just starts immediately. And it presented when I was 8 and just kept getting worse and worse and worse. And the doctors, they renamed the disease. I was so early to it. They called it macular degeneration in 85. Later on, they renamed it as Stargardt disease. And it took a long time, and the doctors didn't know the trajectory, and most of them didn't think it would ever get this bad. But it did, and it took a while, and it robbed me of far more eyesight than I had ever been told as a little kid, which is kind of a story for another day, I guess. But we can get to another call right now. It is the Thursday Pete and Greet. Who's this?
Hello.
Hey, who's this?
Hi, I'm Juliana.
Oh, Juliana, what's going on? Where are you calling from?
California.
Great. Well, depending on what part you're in, it can't be great. We're safe and sound down here in San Diego, about 100 miles south of all the horrible devastation. I'm hoping you're clear of the fires as well.
Yeah, I'm a couple of hours from them.
That's good. What's going on? What do you want to talk about this evening?
Honestly, I don't know. I saw the notification that you were live, and I saw a phone number, and I was like, oh my God, I can call him. And I was like, awesome, because I like watching your videos. I think it's pretty cool.
That's cool. Which app are you watching on?
Right now I'm watching on Instagram.
Cool. This is the first time. Last week was the very first time that I'd ever gone on Instagram, and I did it with Banana. We did the old time phrase game. So this technically is my very first time being alone on Instagram, and I'm kind of excited to bring it to that platform. I never had any success. It's when people tell me like, "Oh, I watch you on Instagram," like, "You do?" Because for the last year, I've had over 2 million followers on YouTube and only 60,000 on Instagram. So when someone found me on Instagram, I was like, wow, that's impressive. But in the last 10 days, I doubled my viewership on Instagram from 60 to 120. So we started bringing the live, and that's when you got the notification, it prompted you to call. So it's working. That's kind of cool.
Yeah, I was like, oh my God, that's actually really cool. And when I called it, I was like, I don't think it's going to answer. I got scared. I was like, uh-oh.
Uh-oh, I'm through. So for anybody that does want to call, there's 6 lines that are open, and that's, you can have, the system I have allows you to have an unlimited amount of people on hold, but I didn't want to do that. So you'll either call and it'll say all the lines are busy, and if you get through, you're just one of 6 people, and then there's a little message telling you that you're gonna come up next. So that's how this whole thing works. I started by showing off some of the unboxing stuff. The video I posted today was about one of my shirts that, after about a year of it being available, everybody started telling me it looked like a wiener, which I was unaware of. And and we're gonna be dropping one tomorrow where someone told me that I had to justify my right to be on the water with all those sighted people. And that was that felt weird to me. Does the concept of that sound strange to you? Like, because I'm blind, I have to justify my existence or my participation in surfing?
Yeah, that's weird.
Yeah, it was such a strange comment that I ended up having to do a whole video about it. So I hope people can get active and give me some of their feedback. I'm doing a lot of talking. Was there anything specific you wanted to ask, or are you just looking to get through and say hi?
Kind of both. I have a couple questions.
All right, fire away.
Okay. So, like, when you said you became blind at a young age, did you have, like, certain people that you had to, like, have full trust in? Like, 'cause you could obviously see before, but, like, if you ever moved, like, houses, or you moved away from, like, where you originally were raised, was it hard, like, readjusting, and, like, did you have to have, like, certain people that you had to, like, fully trust? So,
Yeah,
like,
no, that's a really good.
show you around.
That's a really good question. You know, I didn't experience a bad person, someone that would take advantage of my vision loss, until I was in my early 30s. I think I just turned 30, and I started dating a girl who really just kind of took advantage of the fact that I couldn't see, like, just little things. I couldn't trust her. She would tell me things were happening that weren't happening, or tell me she wasn't doing something that she was doing something. And, you know, the only way I'm getting the input from the world is what I hear, what I touch, taste, feel, and then what people tell me. And after a while, I started realizing that she wasn't giving me the full picture. She wasn't telling me what was going on. And like I said, I'd grown up with people that I trusted, always encountered people that I trusted. And when I found someone that was really just taking advantage of the situation, it was kind of heartbreaking. And I was like, what kind of a person would do that? But growing up with it, it was funny because I was losing my eyesight slowly, and my friends in elementary school were, like, adjusting with me, so that, you know, my best friend Jay, when we'd go to a restaurant, he would just, you know, open the menu and be like, hey, Pete, they have a Western burger, and they have ribs, and a couple other things that he knew I'd like. And it made life so easy because I didn't have to have him read the whole menu. I didn't have to, you know, he'd just find stuff that I liked. And then I realized once I got to college and I started going out with other people that didn't know me as well, everybody would start ordering, and I was like, I don't know what's on the menu. I had to ask for help. So yeah, there was a couple readjustment periods in my life, and fortunately I've met mostly good people, but when you meet someone that's taking advantage of your disability, it's pretty rough. It's a pretty crappy thing to do.
I have one more question.
Sure.
Okay. So, like, did you, like, grow up surfing, or did you, like, is that a skill you learned to do after you became blind? And if so, like, how did you even, like, start?
I hadn't even touched a surfboard until we moved out to San Diego 8 years ago. I grew up sailing and jet skiing and swimming, so I was very familiar with the water. Went to the beach a lot as a kid, but I was a nationally ranked competitive sailor. I traveled all around the country, sailing in small boats, 2-person boats, but I didn't know what surfing even was up to the point that I spent my first 9 months just riding whitewash as if I was on a boogie board. And I thought that was surfing until Banana finally told me, she's like, that's great. You're doing good in the whitewash, but when you're going to go out and like catch some real waves. I didn't even understand the concept of actual surfing because not only had I not grown up with it, but I'd never watched it. I'd never seen any videos. I never saw any pictures. It was outside my scope. Growing up in Boston, I didn't know any surfers. So when I got out here and I grabbed, I bought my first surfboard. It was the very first time I touched one. I didn't know anything about the sport. And Banana and I both just kind of grabbed our first foamy boards and went into the water and kind of started to try and figure it out. And I thought it would be a lot easier than it was because I didn't think there'd be much to see. But the more I did it, the more I realized it was really difficult. But I saw that there was a path. I saw I'd hopefully be able to, so I stuck with it.
That's good. I'm glad that you were able to keep going and stuff because it's really cool.
Yeah, it's a really good. Thank you for the call. I think it was Juliana up in California. It was just really good for me because as my world was closing in and I was losing the ability to do more and more things, and to the point that I couldn't even walk down the street on my own anymore without the blind guy cane and the help of Superdog at the time. I mean, my world was closing in, and then I found this sport that I thought maybe I could possibly do, and that's why I worked. I mean, it was work, like every weekend going out there and getting beat up and pounded by the waves. But I was like, I think I can do this. I was seeing progress. I saw some light at the end of the tunnel. I was like, this is something I think I can do. So I stuck with it, and it really just improved the quality of my life. As everything else was closing in, I was opening my world back up again by getting into the sport of surfing and challenging myself in a way that I wasn't sure I'd be able to do anymore with the amount of vision that I'd lost. It's a Thursday Pete and Greet. I'm Pete. 760-517-6844 is the phone number. Talking to you guys about whatever you want. Who's this?
Hello, I'm Otis.
Otis, great name. Love that one. Where are you calling from?
Thanks. Ohio.
Cool. Are you a Browns fan? What part of Ohio? Are you Bengals or neither?
I'm in Cleveland, but I'm not really a sports fan.
Okay, I work for WKNR.
Yeah.
It's a sports station in Cleveland, and they broadcast.
Yeah, I know. I'm actually a big. Sorry.
No,
I'm actually a big fan of your work.
Oh,
like your voice acting.
Oh, thank you very much. Did you know I was on KNR in Cleveland?
Kind of, a little bit. I knew you did some ads.
Yeah. If you pop on 850 in Cleveland, they broadcast the Browns games and the Guardians, and I ride the roller coaster with them. They send the stuff. Every year the Browns are like, this is the year. We got a great team. We got it all hooked up. We got Deshaun Watson. It's gonna go great. And then basically every year it goes bad, and then it gets all sad, and then they go, but there's the draft. We're gonna get better again. So I have a close relationship with your city in terms of sports. But you said you're not a sports fan. So what did you want to talk about?
Not very much.
It's okay.
I wanted actually to talk about what got you into voice acting and stuff.
I when I wish I could remember the age. I don't remember how old I was. I was in junior high school, so I could backdate it, I guess, maybe 12 years old. And I just had a really high-pitched voice as a kid, like to the point that it was very girly. And then just one day it changed, and, it wasn't the way it is now, but it was a lot deeper. And so immediately everybody's like, oh, you should go into radio. You should go into radio. And people said it to me enough that I was like, maybe. And, I thought about it, the different fields that I thought I'd want to go into. And so by the time I got to college, I did take an internship at a radio station, and I thought I was going to be a DJ. Oh. I looked up to Howard Stern, or at least his success and his business model, and I was like, I want to be a DJ. But then just kind of one thing led to another, and I learned about the life of DJs, at least back then, and still even now. It's hard work. You live and die by the ratings. People get fired all the time for a reason or for no reason. And honestly, voice acting seemed like a little bit more of a stable career. Back then, it wasn't the way it is now, where you're just sitting in your house, working out of a home booth. You were still traveling from studio to studio. You wanted to be in New York or LA. So I did. I went to New York for 2 years, and I met all the agents and went to the big agencies and kind of did the rounds. So even to this day, I'm still known in that circle because I showed my face. But I just kind of started running that circle and taking the classes and the lessons, and I combined acting lessons with voice acting lessons and started to see some success, and just kind of rolled with it because I loved it. It was, some people I feel like I was meant to do this. I definitely feel like I'm doing the job I was meant to do.
Yeah. Also, what is Banana like a nickname, and how did she get it, if so?
It is. There's a video on all my platforms. I think it's called "How Did She Get the Nickname" or something like that. So it's a mildly long story. I can try and give you the short version. And like a lot of nickname stories, like it's almost like you had to be there. But
Yeah.
I used to buy a very specific amount of fruit to make smoothies every day. And I'd have bananas and blueberries and strawberries and kiwi and it was all pre-measured. And since I can't drive to the grocery store, it would be delivered. So I'd have a certain amount delivered each week. And she used to wake up in the morning and steal a banana, and she'd eat that on her way to work. And so for a while, I was calling her the banana thief, and then eventually it just ended up getting shortened to Banana. And like I said, it kind of you had to be there. And I almost forgot. I was like, why do I call you Banana again? Is because you're skinny and you have blonde hair? She's like, no, I used to steal your bananas. I was like, oh yeah. But
Yeah.
I've been calling her that for a long time.
Okay, I guess that's all the questions I had.
All right. Well, thank you for the call. I appreciate it. It's good to be on all the platforms today. You're hopefully watching this. You can see it on YouTube. My main audience have been with you guys for a long time. TikTok. I don't know how long I'm going to be with you guys anymore. Here's the thing. Okay, real quick. People, as far as I understand it, everybody's like saying goodbye on TikTok. It doesn't mean if this thing doesn't get bought by another American company on the 19th or 20th, the app isn't going to disappear. It's going to disappear from the app stores so that you won't be able to update it. So that over the course of a period of time, the new updates on iOS and Android will make it so that it's incompatible. And so it will go away, but it'll be a course of weeks or months. And before that happens, some American company probably is going to buy it. So there's really no need for everybody to say goodbye. If that's your platform, if you like it, a lot of people have their own thoughts on it. I have my own love-hate relationship with TikTok because for the first year of me being popular, they kept taking down my surfing videos because they said it was a dangerous act for a blind guy to surf, and they kept pulling them down. I'm like, yeah, it's dangerous, but it's my thing. It's what I do. It's the Thursday Pete and Greet. Who's this?
Recorded.
Oh, someone's recording the phone call.
This call is no longer being recorded.
All right, now it's not being recorded. Who's this?
Yo, hello.
Yo, you trying to record me? What's going on? Using my words against me?
Not, no, I just want to try to post this or to keep this as like a memory.
All right. Well, what platform are you watching on? What app?
Instagram.
All right. I think you can grab clips from it there. What's your name?
James.
James. That's my middle name. Good name. My middle name, my dad's name, my cousin's name. Everybody in my family is named James, basically. So I like the name. Where are you calling from?
LA.
LA. What'd you want to tell? Oh, LA. That's I'm assuming you're safe. You're doing all right there?
Yeah, I'm doing pretty good right now.
Fires didn't blow your way. You were spared, hopefully?
Yeah, I got spared.
That's great to hear. What'd you want to talk about this evening?
It's kind of want to, like, what inspires you to keep making your content?
You know, that's a good question. I was talking a couple of weeks ago that I had a 5-year plan with this channel, and I was going to just do it for 5 years, whether it was successful or not successful, and shut it down. And that would have been, what's today? Today's the 16th. That would have been 16 days ago was the 5-year anniversary. And I was going to shut it down, but because it's a lot of work. And I don't run it like a business like Mr. Beast and Eric and a lot of the other guys that I got to meet. Molly Burke runs it as a business, and I don't. I've had a couple of sponsors here and there that have approached me. Mostly I lose money making these videos and spend a lot of time doing it. But I continue to do it, and I think I've been doing it for the past couple of years because of the community and the massive amount of messages I get from people who say that just watching my videos has inspired them to work harder, try harder, to find their own way in their own life. And a part of me is happy, but then there's part of me that's like guilty. Like if I don't share these videos, are those people not going to find their inspiration? So it's a little double-edged, but mostly I enjoy the community. I enjoy hearing the stories, and it's nice to know that, just putting my story out there and showing people that you have a terrible, debilitating disability, but it doesn't mean it's the end of the world. And if people can get inspired by that, that inspires me to keep sharing the videos.
Yeah, it's pretty cool.
What else did you want to talk about?
I just want to just like, how do you deal cause how do you deal hate comments and everything?
Fortunately, it's funny, you on YouTube at least, they're really good with the stats, and you can see the thumbs up versus thumbs down ratio, and you can see it for the overall of your entire channel. And I have a 99.6% thumbs up rating, so only 0.04% people are saying anything negative. And you know what's funny? Like, I can read or listen to 100 positive comments. And then if I hear one comment of someone that's saying something nasty, like, it does stick with me. And I feel like that might be human nature or a certain type of person. But when you hear something negative, and especially if it resonates, if there's a kernel of truth in it, it kind of just messes with my day. But then I have to realize that these people don't know me. You know, anybody that's going to say anything negative to you, they don't actually know you. They're just trying to hurt you or cut you down. It's generally coming from their own self insecurity. And so for years, I would let those comments kind of bite, cut, and hurt me. And these days, I'm trying to do a little better with letting them slide off my back and having confidence in myself and knowing that I'm a strong person and these negative things that they're saying aren't true. It's really more a matter of like believing in myself and just kind of trying to forget about them.
Yeah.
Are you having any troubles with anything like that in school, or are you just curious in terms of a content creator?
No, yeah, I'm just curious as as a content creator.
It's weird. I'll tell you, James, it's weird. Like, it's super weird. Kind of, I never intended to put my whole life and Banana's whole life on display. But I was getting positive feedback. You know, the more I shared, the more people got inspired. But then it's super weird. You know, I spent most of my life, 39 years not doing social media, and then all of a sudden there's this pipeline to everybody in the world can tell me what they think about me. And it's a little weird. Like, I don't think we evolved to handle that kind of criticism. I know most content creators, when I was very first getting popular, I talked to a lot of people that had been popular for years, like Casey Neistat, and he's like, I don't read the comments. He's like, I don't even look at them. And then other people are just kind of teaching me to, not pay as much attention or don't put too much weight in it. Especially, if someone out in the real world, if you're out with someone and you have a disagreement and you know each other and you're face to face, like, that's one thing. But if someone just kind of does a drive-by mean comment on a post, it could be some like 9-year-old kid who got his mom's phone. So you really just shouldn't put too much stock in it.
Yeah. Now, I got one more question.
Sure, fire away.
All right. What is your favorite video or story you've made out of all your platforms? Do you have one or no?
Yeah, I think I'm really happy. What the heck was it? I just posted one not that long ago, and it might be a recency biased, meaning one of the more recent things I did I'm more excited about. But I was talking about these panic attacks that I just started to have. I had this one bad experience in the ocean. 2 weekends in a row. I was trying to paddle out, and it was really windy and really noisy, and I couldn't hear when the waves were coming, so I tried to get under them, and I completely messed up. I got barrel rolled. I ended up swallowing water, and that happened to me twice. And so the next weekend when I went to go out, it was in my head. I was petrified that I wasn't going to be able to get another breath. Like, is another wave going to bury me? Am I going to mistime it? Am I not going to hear it right? And I started having a panic attack in the middle of the damn water. And Nisha had to, turn around, get me, and we paddled back in. And I had to sit down on the beach and literally do, breathing out, in, out. And I was really freaking out. I couldn't get my breath. And that was going on. That whole process of going into the water and being scared was very much happening consistently, and it was all in my head. And I worked through it. Nisha, helped by being more vocal and telling me when the waves were coming. And I would work throughout the week on breathing exercises and understanding my breath control. And, it's very unlikely I'm going to get held under so long that I would drown. So that by the next time I went out, I had a solid session. I wasn't scared. It wasn't in my head anymore. And I posted a video called "A Panic Attack at the Worst Time," and I believe that was posted a week ago Friday on all my platforms, Friday or Saturday. And I was really proud of that one because it was a really serious issue. It was something that was really screwing me up and something that felt very dangerous at the time. And I was able to have it all captured on video, kind of the whole process, and then I was able to overcome it and keep surfing. So I was proud of that one.
Yeah.
Is there one?
All right.
Is there one video? Can you think of one video that you saw that you liked?
There was one I liked. It was like the
A lot of
one
people
about like Super Bud.
Oh, Super Dog. Yeah, I got my I got his picture, I think, right next to me, depending on where the camera is posted. That was it. Thanks for the call, James. I really appreciate it. That was and I reposted that one because I was reposting my top 10 videos. So I reposted the video of Super Dog, and that one, I made that video, and I don't even think I ever actually listened to it on my own. I did the once through, and then I started to listen to it, and it started making me cry. Just even thinking about him always makes me cry. So it's funny. I think like 50 million people have seen that video, but I haven't even heard or listened to it after I made it. I made it as like a coping mechanism, but never watched it myself. 760-517-6844 is the phone number. Who we got up on lines right now?
Pete?
Hey. Oh, come on. It is not easy to get through. It is not easy to get through on these lines. I know that. People told me it's hard to get through, and you have to sit there and you have to wait. And then that person calls up, and what do they even say? I don't know. This seems like a waste of everybody's time to do that. I was looking for my glasses over here. I might switch to these in a few minutes. But 760-517-6844 is the phone number if you want to call and say something other than and then hang up. Who we got on the line right now?
Hello?
Hey, who's this?
This is Alex.
Alex, what's going on? Where are you calling from?
I'm calling from Naples, Florida.
Oh, nice. That is the west coast of Florida. Is that correct?
Yeah, I think so.
All right. What do you want to talk about?
I was wondering, like, when did you start doing the voice acting for the radio and stuff?
I took an internship as soon as I got to college. I went to Boston University, and as soon as I got there, I took an internship at a radio station, and within a matter of 2 or 3 months, I had kind of decided that voice acting was what I wanted to do, and I would go into the studio overnight and practice. There was commercial copy that was running on the air, and it was left behind by the guy who was actually, Bill Smith was his name. He was the commercial production director, and he would read it and it would air, and then I'd go in at night and just kind of practice reading the copy to see what I sounded like. So I started at 18. I didn't start getting any actual jobs until I think my mid-20s, but I knew, as a teenager, it's something I thought I wanted to do.
Okay, because you're actually why I kind of guess you could say like childhood heroes, because like every single time I would like go to the bus stop, like my dad would drive me, and I think I'd hear your voice like on the radio and stuff.
That's always that's been ever since that's happened to me. Like, I never got to drive, so I was walking or skateboarding when I was younger. I'd be biking, and I'd just kind of like be walking down the sidewalk, and a car would pull up next to me, and they'd be running a promo that I did. Like that always, I don't know why. I'm like, that's me. I'm in your car. I always thought that was super cool. One of the more surreal moments of hearing my voice out in the world was Banana and I went to a Padres game a couple years ago now. And I'd recorded something for them, and I kind of forgot. Like a lot of times, I record 50 to 100 sessions a day, every day, 10,000 sessions a year. It's a lot. And so sometimes I hear something, it's this kind of out-of-body experience. I'm like, I don't even remember saying that. But the game ended, the Padres game ended, and all of a sudden the stadium goes dark, and they start doing like this little mini laser light show, and I hear, Padres fans, get ready. And like, a part of me knew it was me, but I'd recorded it so long. I'm like, wait, what? And I was like, the fireworks show is about to begin. And then I told everybody in the stadium to, count down with me, 10, 9. And so my pre-recorded big trailer voice was telling it. And then all of a sudden the whole stadium, 40,000 people are all like, 8, 7, 6. And Banana's like, she's like, holding my arm. She's like, that's you right now. That's weird. It was super weird. And then we got to 1 and the big fireworks display started. I'm like, oh, that was trippy. That was super trippy.
That's honestly pretty cool.
So it's fun. It's fun hearing my own voice out in the wild, as people like to say. It was funny when I was starting to get popular on social media, and people are like, "I heard your voice in the wild." I'm like, "What does that mean?" They just meant like they were watching TV or listening to the radio or just out in the world somewhere, and they heard me. I was like, "Oh yeah, out in the wild. That makes sense." So outside of YouTube, or TikTok or Instagram or Facebook, wherever anybody was.
Dang. What would you do if TikTok did get banned and like you couldn't like update it and then it got away?
I mean, I'm on other platforms. I've got 760,000 followers on TikTok, and I'd hate to lose those because I've come to realize, talking into another blind creator, Anthony Ferraro, that it only takes one video. Like one person can see your video, and then they can have the inspiration to have their life change. So I think about 760,000 people. It's 760,000 chances a day to help somebody out. So to lose that does the thought of that bums me out. But I've just been battling with TikTok ever since I've been on the platform. It's like everything I do, they want to market as unsafe content or dangerous act or something like that. And I'm like, man, I'm just out there. They didn't like any of my skateboarding videos, and I don't know if it was the algorithm or whether a person was reporting me. They're like, blind guy skateboarding, that's dangerous. I've never had a video removed from Instagram, never had one removed from Facebook or YouTube. So, if that platform went away, I would be sad. I would hope that those people who want to find the content could find me on another platform. But I'd like to be more centralized on a platform that I don't have to fight to get my content not deleted all the time. Honestly, this is my honest thoughts on TikTok.
I mean, it does kind of make sense why they would remove it because you're kind of blind. But I mean, you are more experienced with it. It's not like you're completely blind.
Well, it's they'd say when I started the channel in 2020, I still had a little bit of eyesight left, and it's all gone now. But the fact that they're going to remove blind surfer content, the content of me surfing blind, I'm like, but I'm the blind surfer. You can't remove the content of the thing that I'm trying to be known for. I found that very frustrating. Thank you for the call, James in Naples, Florida. 760-517-6844 is the phone number. And I'll switch back over to these glasses for a second because I feel like they were fun. Once I knew what they were, I'll take one phone call wearing these things because everybody said they seem to enjoy them quite a bit. Who we got on the phone line right now? Hey, who's this?
Hey, it's Austin.
Did you say Olson?
Austin.
Oh, Austin. What's going on? Where are you calling from?
Ohio.
What's going on this evening? What do you want to talk about?
I wanted to know what your favorite sports team was, like college, like football and stuff.
My favorite sports team, and it's funny because for a long time, people would hate fans of this team because they were so good, but I've been a lifelong New England Patriots fan, and I'm old enough. Yeah, I'm old enough though, man, that in the 90s, they were so bad. They were so bad that they couldn't even sell out their own stadium. And there was a rule back in the day that if you didn't sell out your stadium, that they wouldn't broadcast the game on TV. So there's people that are older than me, a little older than me, that are Giants fans, even though they grew up in Massachusetts. And it's because the stupid Patriots were so bad that they didn't even broadcast the games, so they broadcast the Giants games instead. But I've been following them. I followed the whole run from the moment Tom Brady got there, his 20 years with them. I have 6 commemorative Super Bowl championship footballs in some display cases in the first floor of the house. And I loved that whole run. And I'll tell you, I had a fair amount of vision in the early 2000s. Like, not great, but I would just stick my nose right up against the TV, and I'd be 3, 4, 5 inches away from the TV, and I'd watch Brady and Edelman and Gronk and Troy Brown back in the days. And now they suck. Now they're horrible. Now they're terrible.
Yeah.
But I enjoyed them for 20 years. What's your favorite team?
The Kansas City Chiefs.
Wow, that's a pretty good team to be rooting for right now.
Yeah, I've kind of been liking them ever since.
You think they're going to win it again this year?
I'm hoping. I'm really hoping.
Are they? I don't know. I don't know if I should be talking odds and gambling with you, but as a general, not putting money on it, but are they favored? I don't even know. Are they favored to win this year? Are they are people mostly expecting them to win, or is it the Bills or who's going to give him a run for the money?
I think most people are probably going to put the Bills and the Lions.
Yeah, the Lions are a tough team this year, but it's, you know, I mean, you got Mahomes. You're a Chiefs fan. It's kind of like having Brady back in the day. Like, doesn't matter how big the deficit is or how bad the odds are. Like, you got that guy back there. You stand a chance.
Yeah. Now that they got Worthy too, though, he's really fast too, so he's doing really good.
Well, that's the funny thing about when the Patriots were doing really good, they just kept getting more. And like when Randy Moss came to the team, like they were already amazing, and then they got Randy Moss. It's like, what the hell? It's not even fair anymore. Now it's that way with the Chiefs. Chiefs are so good, everybody wants to go and play with them because it's a better chance for them to possibly, you know, get a title for themselves.
Yeah. Who do you think Tyreek Hill is going to, like, next year? Now that he wants to leave Miami, who do you think he's going to?
I mean, if he wants to be on a winner, he'd probably look at. I mean, it'd be crazy not to look at the Chiefs. I don't know if the Chiefs are going to have enough money under the cap to pick him up, so I don't think he'd be a destination. I know the Patriots are going to pretend to make a run for him, but it doesn't seem like they're spending that much money. I mean, if you could get him in the backfield with Josh Allen up in Buffalo, then you're talking about the Super Bowl favorite next year. So
yeah.
I think that would be cool, but it's, you know, I don't know where the guy's headed. Is he trying to get a championship? Or is he trying to get a big, huge last payday? I'm not really sure.
Yeah.
But that's why people like the off season.
Yeah. I had another question.
Sure.
What was like your favorite job? Like, what job did you want to do before, like, you went blind or something?
I think, I wanted to be before I got to college and before I ended up getting into voice acting, I wanted to be a DJ. So, and this isn't like, I'm not spinning records right now, but I'm on a microphone connecting with an audience. And this is, I don't know why it took me like 4.5 years to even think about doing this, but I really enjoy this. I enjoy connecting and putting some thoughts out there and just kind of promoting some good conversations. Like, I really enjoy this. I was so hyper-focused from a young age, and a lot of people, I meet people now in their 30s, 40s, people in their 50s, and they're like, I don't know what I want to do for a living. And I feel blessed that I knew from a very early age that I wanted to be a voice actor. And I think, you know, if you asked me at the earliest stages, like, what would I want to do in voice acting? What job would I want? I wanted to do movie trailers. And, you know, now I've won the award for outstanding movie trailer voiceover of the year twice. So, you know, to be working in the field that I dreamed of, in the end of it that I dreamed of, like, I feel highly blessed and highly lucky. So yeah, there's not another job out there that I think I'd want. I think I'm perfectly happy with this.
Yeah. When you said like voice actors, have you ever got asked to like act in a movie or anything?
No, well, I did a little work. I did a little work for the Ugly Dolls film, but not in the traditional way. It was through doing a promo for it that got put in it. I've done some cartoon stuff, again, kind of like sideways. I did some work in Ben 10. I was in a television show. My voice was in Marvelous Mrs. Maisel. I was in the last season of that show. That, you know what, you bring me around to an interesting point. I've never been in a movie. I've never been in front of I've never done the actual on camera acting. And that would be fun. I think that would be super cool at some point. But that's a very different path at this point. I've spent so much time doing voice acting. I put all my energy into this because I do love it. But yeah, maybe at some point in the future, maybe I'll try and do some, you know, reach out and see if I could do something in a movie. Hopefully the Blind Surfer cartoon gets made and I'll get to do some voice work in that. I would absolutely love to be doing voice work and have that show created.
Yeah, I'd like to see you in a movie. That would be cool.
Yeah. Well, thank you. Thank you for the call. I appreciate it.
Yeah, thank you.
All right. Let me check the time. I've watched. It says 5:07 p.m. I'm out here in the West Coast. I forgot I had sitting there talking sports with the guy, and I forgot I'd put the stupid glasses on. I don't know if that looked funny or if it looked really weird having like a serious conversation about the Chiefs and the NFL and stuff, and I had the googly glasses. And then I realized, I still got those in my head. I got to change those things. 760-517-6844 is the phone number. I usually stick around with everybody for about an hour, so we're going to do another 20 minutes or so. Who we got on the line right here?
Huh?
Hey, who's this?
Good.
What's your name?
Jonathan.
Jonathan, what'd you want to talk about?
I was wondering, let's say in the future we got it so you can have your vision back. What job would you want?
What job would I want with my vision? I think I'd like to not work. I think I've been working so hard and doing just had my nose to the grindstone, as they say. I've been hyper focused. I was afraid from the time I was really young that I wouldn't be able to make a living as a blind person, or legally blind at the time. And the fact that I found this career and I've been able to excel at it, I just work and work and work and work and work to make sure that I can, continue to survive and thrive. I think if I were to get my eyesight back, I would probably quit like a lot of my work, maybe everything, and just kind of go look at stuff, just kind of like look at the world. It's been so long since I've been able to see that I am starting to forget certain things. I have little clips and images in my head of looking at the ocean when I was a little kid, but if I were to get my eyesight back, I would seriously contemplate just wandering the earth like Cain and looking at stuff. I can't think of another job I'd want to do with my eyesight. I don't know, maybe a race car driver? That'd be fun. My family's in the car business, so they'd be proud of me. Maybe I could do some drag racing, but mostly I think I just enjoy having my eyesight back again.
If you had your eyesight back, what would the first place you would go?
What was it? Say that one more time.
If you had your eyesight back, what would the first place you would go to see?
Oh, the first place
would you go
Yeah, the first place I would go to see, I would like to go to. I'm half Greek, and my grandfather, my papu, hailed from the island of Rhodes, and I don't know. It's a Greek island. I don't know anything about it. I don't know if it's scenic. I don't know if it's financially devastated at this point right now. I don't know anything about it, but I do know that the Colossus of Rhodes, one of the seven ancient wonders of the world, was there. So it had some significance in ancient times, and I'd really like to see where he was from, see where my bloodline came from. I think the first place that I would hop on a plane and go to see is the island of Rhodes. I feel like a part of me would also like to see, I think I'd like to see Egypt. I'd like to see the Sphinx and the pyramids. I think that would be really cool. And then I'd like to do a little trip through. I hear that Iceland is gorgeous. It's hard. People talk about like wanting to travel and see this and see that, and like the idea of traveling and not being able to see stuff just sounds kind of depressing. Like knowing all that stuff there, but I can't see it. If I were to do it with Banana, I'd do it for her. She could describe it to me. But yeah, if I got my eyesight back, it would be Greece first, maybe Europe second, and then I think for some reason I feel like Egypt would be kind of fun.
Yeah.
Well, thank you for the phone call. I appreciate it. We are taking phone calls. It's the, what did I title this show? I forget what the heck I call it. I think it's the Anyone Can Call show. So we're taking calls from anyone on anything. Next week, Banana's going to be back. We'll be doing the old time phrase game, and she's going to be giving you phrases that I keep thinking they're going to be super easy, and then everybody keeps getting stumped on them. So I don't know. Maybe I just grew up learning some old ass phrases. We have a lot of fun playing that game. It's fun to hear people make their guesses and stuff. So the old time phrase game will be back next week this time. Right now it's just me and you guys. Who we got in line right now? Who's this?
Hey, this is Courtney.
Courtney, what's going on? Where are you calling from?
I'm calling from San Diego.
Cool. Neighbor, how's it going?
It's going.
Did you grow up in San Diego or did you move here?
I moved here. I'm from New Jersey originally.
Okay, I'm from Boston, and so I moved here in my 30s, and I'm wondering if you had the same experience. So I grew up in Boston, and I heard about this magical place called San Diego. And in Boston, I was told it was 72 degrees and sunny all day of the year. And when we moved out here, we took a vacation out here, and it was cold. We came out in December after Christmas, and it was cold. And all the locals were like, well, it's not usually cold. And I'm like, okay, I believed them. And then we've been out here 8 years now, and I feel like I try and tell my friends back in Massachusetts, I'm like, dude, it gets down to like the high 30s at night around here. And they're like, no, that's not true. I'm like, yes, it's true. It's cold around here. I mean, I know, you know, I shouldn't be complaining because it's still like 60s during the day and stuff. And like nobody in Minnesota or Maine or New Hampshire wants to hear a San Diego guy say it's cold. But I just grew up thinking 72 and sunny there's that stupid car jingle out here, always sunny. It's not. It's not. It's gray and cold throughout most of the winter. Did you know what you were signing up for when you moved out here?
No, I thought the same.
That's funny. That is funny. I mean, maybe I'm messing up the whole vibe. Maybe I'm supposed to be telling the rest of the world, no, it's always perfect out here. Bring the property values up. I think maybe I wasn't supposed to tell people that, but it's not. It's not always warm.
Oh.
Sorry, sidetrack the conversation with weather talk. Everybody loves weather talk, but what do you want to talk about, Courtney?
I actually have Stargarts as well, and you kind of mentioned panic attacks, and you mentioned going to a Padre game, but I'm kind of curious, like, do you still enjoy, like, live music events? Do you still go to sporting events, despite, you know, us not being able to, like, really enjoy it to its fullest?
So I really want to talk to you about this. I have a tendency to ramble and use a lot of words, but I really want to hear your thoughts on this, but I'll tell you mine first. Live music, I do not like at all. I really don't like it. There might be the fact that as an audio production engineer for years, I'm really picky about my sound. Like I like studio albums, and a lot of times when you go to concerts, unless the band's really tight, you know, I can hear the sloppy guitarist or the vocalist is not having their best day. I get really nitpicky about what I hear, but more than that, as my eyesight has completely crapped out on me, and I navigate the world by sound. And when I'm at a concert and I'm overwhelmed by loud, bad sounding music, I get freaked out, honestly. Like I lose my place. I don't know where I am. I don't know what's around me. There's just noise, and I find it disconcerting. Do you find that or no?
The same, yeah. And it depends on the venue, too. Like, I've noticed that, like, with the observatory, for instance, if you're upstairs, like, the ground is shaking. And so it's just, like, a really, like, sensory overload.
Yeah, and it's unfortunate because Banana really like her happy music or happy place is live music, and it makes me really sad that that's not something, you know. And I could go, but she knows I'm not enjoying it, so you know it's difficult. Like I really do wish I enjoyed it. I would go to a venue and listen to live music if there was like a seat. If I could just sit down and understand where I was and kind of get my bearings, and then have the music wash over me, I could handle that. But the way concerts are, especially like, you know, trying to get in a drink line or find the bathroom or move, you know, she always wants to get closer to the stage. And I've got like no functioning senses at that point. I'm just in this like wash of noise and I break out in a cold sweat and I'm like, I'm scared. Like, it's not enjoyable. I wouldn't say it's very enjoyable.
Okay, good. Glad I'm not alone in that.
I posted so just real quick, I did post a video about that. Now I wanted to get your take on it because there were a handful of blind people that wrote in it. They're like, that, you know, that's ridiculous. Of course I enjoy music. I can hear just fine. So I love the live music. And I wondered if you have Stargates or you do have Stargates like I do. We lost our vision slowly over time and probably to different degrees. I think if you were born blind or if you lost it very early and you're more comfortable with that, maybe you would be more comfortable at a concert. But me as a person who was using vision as my main input for a long time and now not having it and then being in a loud environment, yeah, it's just scary. And the other one, you were asking about sports?
No, the other one was just because with Stargarts, like, we kind of present as if we're not blind.
Yeah.
Like, how do you kind of like express that? Because I always have issues like at TSA or even like ADA entry lines, because they'll be like, well, you don't look disabled and you don't look like you're blind.
Right.
Like, have you ever encountered that as well?
Yeah. And especially because I spent so much of my life trying not to look blind, because I was going through the really noticeable stages of vision loss in my 20s, which is like when you don't want to be, you know, I'm trying to go to college and meet girls and graduate college and interview for jobs. And I didn't want to walk into a job and have them notice right off the bat. Like I didn't want to walk in with a blind cane and looking at the wall when I was trying to find, you know, the person that was in front of me or something. So I spent a long time trying not to look blind. And then as my vision really crapped out and I realized it did not behoove me at all to not have anybody understand that I couldn't see them. Then I was trying to like make it more obvious, like carrying around before I was using the actual blind guy cane, I was just using an ID cane, literally just let people know like, I'm walking down the sidewalk and I don't know you're there. And you know, I spent years as a model, and it was very important to have really good eye contact. So I would listen for the click of the camera or the voice of the photographer, and I would cue in on the, I got my glasses on now, but I would cue in on the camera. I believe the main YouTube camera is right there. I think Instagram is there and TikTok is right there. So I can still do that thing where I'm looking in the direction of things. And it's very confusing to people. They're like, well, your eyes are pointed at me. I'm like, yeah, but I can't see you. It's just, it's a social norm. Like to this day, I'll look in the direction of someone I'm speaking to, cause I hear their voice. You know, I bet you this happens to you too. I'm talking to someone, like I'll be talking to Banana and she's to my right, and all of a sudden she'll like get up and move, and I didn't hear her move. And so I'm still talking off to the right. And then I hear her voice. I'm like, yoink, you're over there now. But it's, you know, I've tried so hard not to quote unquote look blind. That's why when I very first started doing these, and I was so good with the eye contact and eyeball expression and facial expressions, you know, I spent the first 2 years in social media responding to comments, people being like, you're not blind. I'm like, oh, this is gonna suck.
Yeah.
Where are you where are you at with your Stargates? From what I've met a small, maybe a dozen people, and everybody's went at a different pace and kind of went to a different degree. Were you diagnosed very young or later in life?
I was diagnosed in high school because I was about to start driver's ed.
Yep.
So never learned to drive. So. Yeah.
Oh, that stinks. You got to the point you were like about to start driver's ed, and then they were like, oh, geez. Yeah, I knew at 8. And for me, my dad, his family owned, and then eventually he moved on from that and worked for a car dealership. So cars were in my family, and you know, I probably could have gotten any car I wanted. He builds and collects muscle cars and classic cars and stuff. So cars is in my family's blood. And then I found out at the age of 8 I'd never be able to drive. I'm like, oh, well, that stinks.
Oh, man.
But that's interesting. Yours presented. I did meet a woman, I believe. She told me she didn't start to present until she was about 30. I was like, oh man, it's a very, I've intentionally not researched the disease because I've found when I used to research it, 2 years later, they'd be like, oh, that was all wrong. Never mind. You know, there's still, you know, we're at 2025 now. There's just not enough people, and there's not enough case studies that have been going on long enough for them to definitively know how this disease works and the trajectory of it. So I don't know. Maybe I should be more informed, but honestly, I'm just kind of just trying to live my life. And if someone rolls up and says, "Hey, we got a cure," I'll be happily surprised. But at this point, following the science was just making me sad, honestly.
Yeah, for sure. Well, hopefully I see you around San Diego sometime, and I just want to thank you for representing us so well on the interwebs.
Oh, that is great to hear. Thank you very much for the phone call.
Thank you. Take care.
Hey, that's fun. You know, to hear her say representing us so well, I never tried to represent a whole group of people, whether it's blind or disabled people or you know, dark-haired people. I didn't try and set out to represent a group. And then every once in a while, I'll get a note, someone being like, "You don't represent it. Your views don't represent everything." I'm like, I'm not trying to, but when I do hear that and I find that I'm put in that situation, that's why I've always just tried to keep all my social media as positive as possible. You know, I know Mr. Beast is super popular, and I know that there's guys out there, Hassan Abi, who thrives in politics and controversy and stuff like that. But when I kind of found the lane that I was skating in with, you know, positivity and inspiration, and you know, if anybody does look at me as representing a group, I want to represent that as good and positively as I can. So that was the highlight of my day right there, to hear her say that I was representing everybody positively. 5:22 p.m. That means TikTok people, they only let me stay on your platform for about an hour, and then they kick me off unless I go over there and solve a puzzle, which I obviously can't do. So if I lose you guys, you can grab us you grab me on Facebook, Instagram, and YouTube. I'm going to take a couple more calls here. 760-517-6844. Who's this? Hello. This happens. Banana would be laughing right now. Like literally every time I say I'm going to take one last call, we've been flawless for the past 52 minutes or however long this thing's been going on. Everybody's come on. They've said hello. They've been ready. I say I'm going to take one last call. And then that call, inevitably, I'm going to tell her after. She's going to laugh. Inevitably, that's the call that doesn't work. Let's try it one more time. Who's this?
Hello.
Hey, I can hear you. Who's this?
My name's James.
James, you're second James of the night. Where are you calling from?
Philly.
Philly. All right. What'd you want to talk about?
So I was wondering, with like your blindness and stuff, do you feel that your life is like more slow paced?
Oh, that's an interesting question. I feel like it could have been. I feel like, but before, it was kind of part of the reason that I moved to San Diego, is I did feel like my life was slowing down. I grew up as an athlete, and I was very busy, and I used to take a lot of trips with friends and stuff. And then as my eyesight got worse and I wasn't able to partake in so many of the sports and activities, and you live in Boston and you're like snowed in half the year, I did feel like I was just kind of sitting in my house. I was lifting weights and reading copy and going out to eat every now and then, not doing a lot. And my life was really closing in. It was getting a little depressing. Then I decided I wanted to move out to the West Coast, and I talked about it with Banana, and we did. We moved to San Diego, where I was at least able to get outside and be more active. And then, I took up surfing, and kind of as a side result of this channel, I ended up taking up a bunch of different sports: wake surfing, wakeboarding, skimboarding. I'd skateboard more than I used to. We've done rock climbing, target shooting, and I feel like a combination of moving out here and starting this channel has made me be way more active than I definitely would have been had I stayed in Boston. And honestly, I feel like a lot of people, when you get to a certain age, you just kind of like slow down. You're like, all right, I'm just going to take it easy now. But because my eyesight's crapped out, I keep challenging myself. It's just kind of my own, middle finger to the world or the universe that took my vision away. I keep showing it. I'm going to keep doing stuff, despite what has happened to me. So I feel like my life has actually gotten much more active over the past few years.
Yeah. Also, one question.
Yep.
Say you could get your eyesight back, is there any like particular vehicle that you'd want to drive?
That's funny. I used to think about that a lot, because I used to have in my mind that I thought I would, excuse me, I would be getting my eyesight back. And so I used to think about what kind of car I would want to drive. I've kind of given up thinking that that's going to happen. But my father, he recently sold it. He had a 1970 Chevelle Super Sport 454. It was black with white racing stripes on it. And I always thought that would be a super cool car to drive. Sorry, I'm losing my voice here a little bit. A muscle car from the 70s. I think that would be really, because that's what I grew up watching my dad drive. He loves the muscle cars, and I think I think that would be really cool. And those are the cars, he works on his own cars, and he keeps them running and tweaks them and changes them out for drag or street race. And cars these days, Banana drives a really fancy, expensive Audi, and the thing like basically drives itself. And I'm like, well, that's really cool. But yeah, if I were to have one chance to hop behind the wheel, I think I'd grab one of my dad's muscle cars and kind of take it down the road. That'd be fun.
One final question.
Sure.
How do you, like, over there on the West Coast, what do you think about the water there? Funny question.
The water? Is that what you said?
Yeah, like compared to Boston.
Are we talking the drinking water or the ocean water?
Ocean.
Okay, so that's another thing I didn't know when I moved out here. For some reason, I grew up, watching Baywatch and Pamela Anderson and David Hasselhoff running around on the beach up there in Malibu, and she was in her swimsuit and he was in his trunks, and I assumed that the water in California was warm all the time. And it's not. It's really cold. Like last weekend, I was surfing and it was 56 degrees. And so I had a 3-4 wetsuit on. I had a 3-4 wetsuit. I had booties. I wish I had my gloves with me. I was like shivering out there in the water. And obviously the water in Boston at this time of year is colder. But, and you know this, if you're on the East Coast, in the summer months, it actually heats up and gets like pleasant. Like you can go in your trunks and hop in the ocean in June, July, August, even into September. I've gone I think I've gone 4 or 5 years out here in San Diego and not surfed in anything other than a wetsuit. I think it was over 5 years ago I surfed in trunks, but it's always so cold. It never actually gets that warm out here. I did not know that about the Pacific Ocean.
Thank you for your time.
Yeah, thanks a lot. Yeah, we'd bought our place out here. We were building it, and we were on vacation in Block Island, I think, Banana and I, and some guy who lived on his boat and was a bartender. He was telling us, he's like, yeah, He's like, do you know? He's like, the ocean doesn't actually get that warm out there. And we're like, what? That can't be. We heard that, I was about to, I can take one more call. We had heard that it was, or I'd assumed that the Pacific was a warmer ocean, but it's just another misconception of living out in this area. We'll do one more phone call. I think we might have lost TikTok, but everybody else is still there. Who's this?
Oh, Joseph.
Joseph, where are you calling from?
Florida.
All right, what's going on this evening?
I was just calling to ask a question.
Sure, go ahead.
I see two. Okay. The first is... Okay, no, I forgot. Well, I remember the second one.
Okay.
I saw you posted a video. I don't know how long ago it was. Maybe like a week ago. But it was, what's better than a punch in the face?
Yeah.
Has there been any other time where you've been beaten up or like hit from being?
There was one. So that was a messed up incident. That was a repost. I reposted my top 10 videos, and that one I think was like number 5 or something. I did in my own neighborhood. This is when I'd started to blow up on TikTok, and I hadn't blown up on YouTube yet. I was just starting to get popular, and someone came. I was with Superdog, and they like open hand hit me in the face, and he said, "Oh, SH." He swore, he's like, I thought and then there were a bunch of there was like a couple people behind him or something. I didn't know what was going on, but I got hit in the face. And from what I gathered is he was trying to see if I was going to dodge. He was trying to prove, there was a thing on TikTok at the time. I was talking to Courtney, one of the callers a while ago about this, about not looking blind, but telling people I'm blind. And I think someone recognized me, and they were young. It was a young voice. Didn't even sound like just may have hit puberty. I think he was trying to show his friends, like, watch this, he's going to dodge, and I'll prove that they might have been filming it for all I know. They were going to see if I would dodge the punch. And I didn't, because I didn't see it coming, and I am blind. And he hit me, and my glasses went flying, and Superdog went barking. And I held on to him, and I kind of felt around and found my glasses. I was like, what the hell was that? It was very disorienting and kind of upsetting once I realized what happened. I'm like, someone actually did that to try and prove that I can't see? Like, that's a jerk move. But generally, people don't hit a blind person because, I think you get in the fast pass lane to go to hell if you do that.
Yeah. Okay, so I have a second question.
Sure.
In another one of your older videos, you said sometimes you get kind of a superpower where in your dreams you can see again.
Yes.
Do you still get those?
Yes, like every night, like every single night. Thanks for the call. I'm gonna answer that, but I'm gonna let you go because we're closing up on the other platforms. Yeah, every single night I close my eyes, I go to bed, and I have these really clear dreams. I can see everything. I can I have like hypervision. I'm like at a loss for words because it's so cool for me. Like, it's so nice to be able to dream in great vision. And then I wake up in the morning and I have those visions in my head. So I'm feeding my brain, and my brain's refeeding itself some stuff that I've seen, even if it is in just dreams. I really hope that doesn't go away. I don't want to start dreaming in just like all black or white, or the bright lights that I see now, the smush. Like, that's a crappy. That'd be crappy. It's just a nice escape. Like, yes, I can still see in my dreams, and I look forward to dreaming every night and re-experiencing them in the morning. That is the Thursday Pete and Greet for this week. Next week, Banana's going to come back. We'll do the old time phrase game. Love having everybody on all the platforms here. I was going to put this on for you guys just cause. Let me do this. I'll put this on just because people wanted me to. It's the Daredevil mask. Which way does it go? Is that right? There we go. All right. There you go. Now you can't say I didn't do it. There's the Daredevil mask for you. Thanks for tuning in. Thanks for watching. Is the eye holes lined up? Yeah, the eye holes are lined up. I don't know why there's eye holes. It'd be more of a badass thing if there were no eye holes. But anyway, thanks for watching. I'll be back next week with Banana. And that's it for now. Thanks to all the callers. Let's see if I can turn these all off. I'm going to turn the microphone down.